Remember the Kickstart programme? Well, that was an attempt in a way to tame a sport which takes riders over a course littered with obstacles. The sport, however, is a lot tougher when it's man and machine against the natural obstacles provided by the British countryside. The British round of the World Championship, round 2 of the World Championship, was held recently at the Butser Lime Quarries at Petersfield in Hampshire, from where Murray Walker reports.
Trials riding is a sport which began in Britain, but now it has a World Championship series that embraces 12 countries. This year's British round, organised by the Waterlooville Club, has got a really tough course near Petersfield, where, as ever, the object of the exercise is to get through the 42 marked sections without putting your feet on the ground. Britain's top rider is Steve Saunders, so he's the man to forecast today's winner.
I think there's 5 riders really that can win. There's Jordi Tarras from Spain, Thierry Michel from France, Donato Miglia from Italy, me hopefully from England, and Lejeune from Belgium. I think that's 5 good riders, and possibly Bossis also from Italy.
6 men in particular to watch then, all of them in bright, colourful clothes and riding bikes weighing about 200 pounds with mostly 250cc two-stroke engines producing some 20 horsepower and costing around £2,000. And to ride them properly, you've got to be a bit of an acrobat. Here's the world champion, Spaniard Jordi Tarras. He started his two-wheel career as a BMX rider, but he now rides an Italian Beta. This is 3 times world champion Belgian Eddy Lejeune, who's already won 33 World Championship trials, mostly on a Honda, although he now rides a 350cc Spanish Merlin. Yet another nationality, Italian Donato Miglia. He rides one of the popular Italian Fantic machines and was 5th in Spain, round 1 of the championship. And here's a Frenchman, the brilliant Thierry Michaud, world champion in 1985 and 86. 3 times winner of the Scottish 6 Days trial and leading this year's World Championship. Obviously then, a favourite for today.
Oh, my bike is very good. The engine I think is good for this kind of sections. But I think he's a rider. Steve Saunders has the same bike as me. He has a very good bike. The Fantic is okay in the mud. I think the engine is good. But I think the rider will make the difference.
76 of the world's best on highly specialised machines. High exhaust to clear the ground. High torque engines for pulling power. Upright handlebars for standing on the footrests. Very lightweight and disc brakes. Definitely not your average road bike. They start singly at intervals, and it can take 7 hours to ride a tough course like this. That's in good weather. And here the skies are definitely fresh. So, into the British round of the 1988 World Championship Series. And this is what trials riding is all about. Can he get up the hill? And the answer is no. The dreaded wheel spin sets in, down goes the rider, and the crowd really appreciates good riding here. This is Andrew Crodina on the amazingly named Spanish Gas Gas. And he needs a bit more of that, apparently. Tarras watches. 3rd in Spain, the reigning world champion. And this is the man to watch. Steve Saunders, riding very early. Round the left-hander, drops downhill. 250cc Fantic. He's riding 5 times British champion. Won this event last year and the year before. And that is a brilliant climb. Much to the relief of Steve Saunders, and that's his minder on the right, the man who's there to help him in all sorts of ways. Jordi Tarras, the world champion. This is the same section. Let's see how he takes it in comparison with Steve Saunders. Saunders riding a Fantic, Tarras riding a 250cc Beta. 3rd in the first round of the series this year in Spain. Oh, he's struggling, 1 foot down. He loses a point for that. Just 1 mark lost. Saunders lost no marks. Tarish has lost 1 mark. And if you stop altogether, you lose 5 marks. Now let's have a look at another series. And this is typical of modern trials riding. You are allowed to quite literally heave the machine around to get your line right, provided you do not take your feet off the rests, provided you do not go outside the tapes, and then you can make a dash for it. See him heave the bars round, get the front wheel round to the left down. He's footing his way out. That's 3 marks lost. Now this is Thierry Michaud on the 250 Fantic, the double world champion. That hill is a lot steeper than it looks, and it's all too easy to go into the crowd if you get your timing wrong. But now he's got to line the bike up and go for the climb. Round the tree. Stopped it beautifully at the top there. Out of the section. No marks lost. Clean. Now here's another section. You can see from the tapes the way it goes, and it is a very tricky one. Saunders has got to tackle some tree roots here. Very difficult to get across. Almost across. Down. That is a complete fail. 5 marks lost. Those trees were brought down by the hurricane, and they've now brought down Steve Saunders. So now, the champion, Jordi Tarish, is he going to get across? It's going to be a miracle man that can get across these tree roots. They're very, very slippery. And Tarish is not that miracle man. And he's not very pleased either. Saunders through and failed. Tarish through and failed. Now what about Michaud? So very nearly, if he could have just kept going there, he would have lost 3 marks. As it is, he's lost 5. And there's the proof. Very knowledgeable crowd here. And this is Diego Bossis, the Italian. Different section. Italian champion, 4th in the Spanish round, 2nd in the World Championship last year. He's got to come up this hill and then change direction. Let's see how he does it. Up the hill. Masterly. Comes to almost to a complete standstill. Heaves the front wheel round, lines it up, wriggles round the tree. Another tricky turn, and another one. If you get your line wrong, you see, you hit a tree root, and you can be thrown off altogether. But Bossis goes through. No marks lost there. That was a fine bit of riding. Most of the sections are in the Butser lime quarries, and they are very, very difficult. Here's somebody taking a different line across the course. And from the high banks of the quarry, there's an absolutely superb vantage position. Schiaberto over the crest into the section. Italian rider just nudges the tape, but that's all right. Up to the top of the hill. Now he's got to ride along this little section here, turn right, drop down again. You'll notice the way they all get their feet up on the footrest. Now that is a very, very high climb, and he's got to go in exactly the opposite direction now. How's he going to get there? Bit of tricky leg balancing. Heaves the back of the bike round. That's not easy. Now downhill. This is the Spanish rider, Codina, on the gas. Up. Now watch him heave the bike round. Don't put your feet on the ground. That is the magic thing to keep them on the rests. Downhill. And he's through. Now what about Girard here? This is a different section, and it's a vertical rock face. There are the 3 top men, Tarish, Bossis and Michaud, all watching. And here's the man they're going to watch. It's Steve Saunders. Brilliant. Up to get up that vertical face at just 1 foot is terrific. Now he goes down the same vertical face, and that's the Frenchman Berlatier, number 5, watching him. Got to wriggle round here, line the bike up and climb out again. He can take as long as he likes. He's taking plenty of time, balancing on the rests. Away! And a magnificent climb out. He's only put his foot down twice in that long section. 2 marks lost. Now this is Eddie Lejeune, 3 times world champion. But it certainly doesn't look like it there. Down goes the Merlin. And now the rain is starting to fall. Thierry Michaud, in wet conditions, positions himself for a go at this climb. Tremendously demanding. Getting himself settled. Still not putting his feet on the ground. Can the Frenchman do it? He's struggling. Ah! And that counts as 1 foot, 1 mark lost. This is Jordi Tarash, wriggling his way into the section, over the rocks. Bike absolutely stationary while he gets his balance. Feeds in the revs. That is magnificent, brilliant climb. And at the end of the first lap, Michaud and Saunders are tying for the lead, with Melio 3rd and Tarash 4th. But now, the rain is starting to absolutely bucket down. Will those positions change? The conditions really are appalling. It's a quagmire here. It's slippery. It's almost impossible to keep the bikes upright. And there's an indication of what it's like. And incidentally, the man on the right is a minder. He accompanies his competitor. He's allowed to go round the course with him and help, especially in circumstances like this. Circumstances which ex-world champion Thierry Michaud obviously does not like. He's watching Steve Saunders to see how he takes it, and the answer is superbly, absolutely clean. So now it's Michaud's turn, knowing that Saunders is now leading the trial. No problem here. This is the easy bit. I notice Michaud hasn't got his minder with him. Let's hope he doesn't strike trouble. Round the fallen tree roots. Over the bow. Line it up now, wind it up. Lots of speed. Up to the top, he's through. He's not, he's footing. He's stopped. 5 marks lost. An ignominious failure, and that's going to put Saunders well ahead. Oh, misery. And the conditions are, if anything, now worse. As Donato Melio, who's almost out of the trial now, he was in 3rd position, but he's been slipping back. This is his big opportunity. And he loses it. Tarash, the reigning champion. Good, good, and he's kept rolling, just a foot. 4th on the first lap, that should have improved his position. Now Thierry Michaud. Oh, that's a nasty one. And something's happened to his face. Stone, mud in his eye. Whatever it is, that is a complete failure. 5 marks lost, and it looks as though Saunders is home and dry to win the British round of the World Championship for the 3rd year in succession. Let's see how he copes with this one, knowing he's going extremely well. Couple of little practice rolls up towards the face. Water coming down, making it very, very slippery. Up on the rests, but he's kept it going. Few marks lost, but Steve Saunders stops, knowing that his victory in sight.
Right, that was my turn. No one over yet, Jeff. No one here. It's over when we finish.
It's over when it's finished, and at the finish, Steve Saunders was the man. For the 3rd year in succession, he wins the British round, a brilliant ride, and in the process he goes equal into the lead of the World Championship with Thierry Michaud, but still with 10 events to go.
And confirmation of the result of that fine victory there for Steve Sawton.
Later on, I thought it really was